How are you all doing? How's everybody? Good to see you. Let me see who's on here. We got Francine, Shelley, Katie, Emily and Carol, Norma, Helene. Hi, Helene. Carl, Sue, Ray, Becky, Kathleen from Seattle, Becky from Michigan, Cornelia, Jill, Gregory. Hi, Gregory. Nancy, Amanda from Indiana, Sheila, Mark, Kat, Barbara, Ryan. I hope I'm not missing anybody. Lisa, Barbara, DT, Diane, and Jeanette. Welcome, everybody, folks. Good to see us all. Hope you're all doing well. It's a pretty chilly day here in Dublin. It's probably only about 6 degrees, maybe about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, but it is chilly. But we had a real great run with the weather recently, so I can't complain. The month of February has just been absolutely fabulous. Wonderful, wonderful weather. So we were due to get some bad weather or cold weather. It was raining earlier. I'm hoping it doesn't rain. It was a little drizzle earlier. It wasn't bad. It wasn't heavy rain. So I'm hoping that we don't get rain on this tour. Shelley, how you doing? Good to see you. Nan, Michael, welcome everybody. Susan and Charlie, the rescue dog, United States, Connecticut. Great stuff. Rain here today too, so Shelley. So that's really cool. You rescue dogs, Susan and Charlie? That's fantastic. My sister has rescue horses and rescue dogs from a charity called My Lovely Horse. And she's got 8 dogs and 8 horses. She lives like on about 2.5 acres of land in rural Ireland. But her daughter's huge into their horses and dogs. Suzanne, how are you? Good to see you. Roger, how are you? Christina. Yes, indeed it is. You're looking right there, folks, at Christ Church Cathedral. You may have been on my tours before where I've done ancient Dublin and shown you the beautiful Christ Church Cathedral. That is the oldest working building in all of Dublin. And it dates back, the original building dates back to 1028, where it was a wooden structure built by the Vikings. It was then built in stone when the Normans came to Ireland in around the year 1170. They defeated the Vikings and they rebuilt this building in stone by Richard de Clare, otherwise known as Strongbow. And Strongbow was a Norman warlord, and his tomb lies in rest here in Christ Church Cathedral and has been there ever since 1176. How about that? So that is the oldest working building in all of Dublin, Christ Church Cathedral. Welcome, everybody's just joined us. We're coming up to the start of the tour. I'm here on Merchants Quay, right here. We're going to not only go and show you St Michan's church, but where there has been a settlement there, a monastic settlement there since the year 1095. So it goes way, way, way back, and it's known for its cathedral crypts in there where there's nearly 1,000-year-old mummified remains in St Michan's. But before we actually go to St Michan's Church, we're not actually going inside the church. It's locked up and so forth, and we're not going inside the crypts because there's no signal, but I do have photographs that I've taken, and Suzanne, who's on here, was here. Well, she's been here about 17 times over the last 7 or 8 years or so, but she's been to St Michan's, and she's after giving me some of her photos as well as the ones that I took the last time I was here. I was here on a tour about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I took lots of photos of the mummified remains. We'll show you that. We're also going to go into Smithfield Square, which is an old market square here in Dublin. Very, very ancient market. Took place there for hundreds or centuries. And housed right there in Smithfield is also the Jameson Distillery. Second oldest distillery in all of Ireland. And we'll show you a bit of that as well. What you're looking at here, folks, is... Now, we're starting the tour proper right now. And welcome, everybody. Good to see us all. I hope you're all doing well. You're looking right here at the forecourts of Dublin. Absolutely stunning, stunning building this is. And it's a neoclassical style. And it's right there on Inns Quay, overlooking the River Liffey. This is the River Liffey that runs through... Hi, Candace. That runs through the centre of Dublin City. It's got 21 bridges, runs across the Liffey in the city of Dublin. But as I say, this is the beautiful forecourts right here. And work began on the forecourts by architect Thomas Cooley in 1776. Now, he also designed City Hall between 1765 and 1775, so just before his death. But so architect Thomas Cooley in 1766, but he died in 1784. So James Gandon, probably the most prolific architect in the history of Ireland, continued where Cooley left off when Cooley died in 1784. And Gandon designed many of the great buildings around Dublin, including the Custom House, the King's Inn, O'Connell Bridge, the old Irish Parliament. I mean, just to mention a few. And also a lot of manor homes throughout the country as well for the gentry at the time. Now, he added the courts to the plan, and he added 2 quadrangles and a central block. And the quadrangles were given to the record and legal offices, and the centre to the forecourts of the Chancery Exchequer, the King's Bench, the Common Pleas, and the building was completed then in 1802. Let me just give you a nice view of the forecourts right there. It really is stunning. Stunning building, as I said. Now, at the hub is the round hall. It's 64 feet in diameter, with inner and outer domes and surround of Corinthian columns. It is described as both the physical and spiritual centre of the building. Now, the material that it's made of is basically Portland stone with granite, cast iron, timber, steel, stucco, and sandstone. But it really is an impressive building. It's fabulous. Now, the forecourt was badly damaged in 1922 in the Civil War that took place here in Ireland, and during the Anglo-Irish, following the Anglo-Irish Treaty. Now, I just want to show you, there's a boat going through here, the Liffey. So just show you these guys as we come before we continue on. It's a nice sight right there. A nice day for a little boat ride. As the water is pretty calm, even though it's a cold day out, but it is pretty calm. So let's just go over a little more about the forecourt. So during the Civil War of 1922, there was irreparable loss with the destruction of the Public Records Office adjoining the forecourts, and priceless legal and historical records were lost, including the complete records of the Irish Parliament and the original wills of every Irish testator from the 16th century and the register of hundreds of Irish parishes throughout the country. Now, the dome is obviously the most prominent feature of the forecourts. It's one of Dublin. It's on the Dublin skyline, and prior to the introduction of the euro, it appeared on the Irish currency of the £20 note. That dome did right there. Now, the largest court here is the Supreme Court, and you also have the Court of Appeal, the High Court, and the Dublin Circuit Court as well. Now, we're going to move on, folks. I'm going to go over the bridge. I'm on the south side of the city right now, and once I go over this bridge, the O'Donovan-Rossa Bridge, I will be on the north side of the city. We'll pass by the forecourts. I'll give you another look at the forecourts from different angles and also from the back. It's on Chancery Street right here in Dublin. And I say this is Merchants Quay. So just to tell you a little bit about this bridge, it's named after O'Donovan-Rossa. O'Donovan-Rossa was an Irish Fenian, part of the Irish Republican Brotherhood. And he was a phenomenal rebel, if you like. And his whole aim was for independence for Ireland. He was imprisoned on many occasions for his activities against the British Crown. And one time he was going to start a revolution, and he was jailed, and supposedly was going to be jailed for life. But it was then commuted. This was in 1865. It was then commuted to, or he got amnesty, I should say, and he only served 5 years. But he only served 5 years, and he got out in 1870 under the conditions that he would never return to either Ireland or Britain ever again. So he made his way to New York City. And while in New York City, he was able to do great work as he drummed up a lot of funds for the cause of Irish independence through the Irish American community there. And he died in 1915. He was given a hero's welcome, a big, huge funeral right here. His body was brought back from New York City to Glasnevin Cemetery in 1915. And Padraig Pearse gave his great orientation at his gravestone right there in the graveyard of Glasnevin, the largest graveyard in all of Ireland. Now, this guy was busy in a lot of ways, like raising funds for the cause of Irish freedom, but also he was, as I say, he was busy in a lot of other ways as well, because he had 18 kids, folks. He was married 4 times when he went to New York and married and had 18 kids. How about that? Unbelievable. So this is the great man right here. This is all in the Irish language, so you won't be able to read it and so forth. But this is him, O'Donovan Rossa. That's his name in the Irish language. Jeremiah O'Donovan Rossa, originally from County Cork. So here is actually the English version of O'Donovan Rossa. Let me zoom in here so you can see it. So the bridge was renamed in 1922 in memory of Jeremiah O'Donovan Rossa, 1831 to 1915. The clear true eyes of this man, almost alone in his day, visioned Ireland as we of today would surely have her. Not free merely, but Gaelic as well. Not Gaelic merely, but free and noble as well. Padraig Pearse, 1915. That was just part of the speech that he, or of his orientation at his graveside in 1915. So we're going to cross the road here, folks. This is Inns Quay that we're coming up to. We just left Merchants Quay. And you can see, different parts of the building right here. As I say, it really is a spectacular building. And one of the most noticeable buildings in all of Dublin as well, especially for a spectacular dome, as you can see right there. Really is fantastic. Welcome everyone who's just joined us. Good to see you. Amazing to me. 18 kids. How can he afford 18 kids? I guess maybe use some of the funds he raised. Maybe they went on that. Who knows? Who's to say he supports all his kids? Well, that's true. But I'd say he probably did. He had a lot of wealthy friends among the Irish American community in New York. So they probably donated some money. Thanks, Gabby, for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome, everybody just joined us. Obviously, you got a nice little pub right here, appropriately named the Legal Eagle, as it's beside the forecourts here in Dublin. Recently, I watched a film of the forecourts shooting in the Civil War, Claudio. Yeah, did you, Claudio? Very good. I've seen that before. It was a good while ago since I've seen that. So they must have re-showed it recently. The Legal Eagle, folks. Now we're going to move on. I want to show you. Now this area of Dublin is more of a working class area here on the north side of Dublin. The most fashionable side, obviously, in Dublin is the south side of the city, south side of the Liffey. This is more of a working class area, and there's some flats right here, or if you like, apartments. You guys call them, we call them flats right here. There's another view of the forecourts right here. Sorry, man. So, where I'm going to take you now, folks, is Chancery Park. Is this area? This is Chancery Place right here. You'll see the Lewis going by. That's the tram service that runs through the centre of Dublin. Hi, Trish. How are you? Good to see you. So I'm going to bring you into this little park. And this little park right here is the smallest park, the littlest park, if you like, in all of Dublin City. And it's called Chancery Park. Let me just show you here. So you have some opportunity to take some nice postcard photographs here as well, folks, during the course of the tour. So it's a charming little garden, this right here. I'd say the smallest park in all of Dublin. And nice little fountain there as well. And it's a railed off refuge from busy streets around it, with a nice little fountain here. And some nice manicured shrubs as well. And it's designed basically in the Art Deco style. Just like Chancery House, and the block of flats designed at the same time. And inside the smallest park in Dublin, there's the Chancery Flats right there. Love all the Gaelic signage. Yes, Becky. Everything has to be in both English and Irish. Irish Gaelic. A lot of people tend to use this word Gaelic all the time, but you have to distinguish because there is a lot of Gaelic languages. You have Scotch Gaelic, Welsh Gaelic. You even have Cornish Gaelic and Brittany Gaelic in France as well. There's another view of the forecourts. Absolutely stunning building, as I said before. It's a huge building as well. And it houses all the different courts and so forth. This, obviously, this Supreme Court as well. Didn't know the proper term was Irish Gaelic, yes. Or just Irish, you know, if you like, Becky. There's this lovely little, I just had a cup of coffee here before I start the tour. It's a really, really nice little, thank you, Candace, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You're very, very kind. Candace always leaves me a nice tip. She's very kind. This is a lovely little coffee shop / restaurant, if you like. You can get your breakfast in there, you can get your lunch, and obviously they're serving tea all day long. Most of the clients, if you like, the customers in here are from the forecourt, so you have a lot of lawyers that go in here, as we call them, solicitors, lawyers, solicitors. And Fagan's, it dates back to 1924. And Fagan's works with artisan bakers, brewers, and suppliers who share their passion for sourcing local produce that's in season. Their ingredients are all ethically produced, organic, and free range where possible. Now, unfortunately, we've got no sun clouds out today, which is not too nice, but what can you do? You can't have it everywhere. I've been so lucky with the weather, as I say, over this past month. It hasn't been cloudy, not even one day that I've done a tour. The sun's been shining, but today, unfortunately, there is no sun clouds. So there is another view of Fagan's. 1924, as you can see right there. I'll zoom in. Is the fruit and vegetables? Yes, indeed, Mary. We're coming up to that right now. Okay. What did I do with that? So this over here, folks, is the Dublin Fruit and Vegetable Market. Now, unfortunately, it opened actually in 1892. Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate it. So this is it in a beautiful Victorian building, as you can see. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, it closed in 2019. And but it's a really, really beautiful red brick, as you can see, Victorian building. I love them red brick Victorian buildings, and they're all over Dublin. You'll see them everywhere. Of course, there's also lots of amazing Georgian buildings too. Now, the Georgian period in Dublin was from 1713 right up until 1830. And then from 1839 to 1901, you had the Victorian period. And this was built during the Victorian period. Thank you, Barbara. Appreciate it. You're very kind. Thank you, Catherine. Are they going to renovate the building? Okay, Shelley. Yeah, thank you, Trish. Appreciate it. The floor area here of the markets consists of 541,000 square feet. How about that? And the building is owned by the Dublin City Council, and it intends to reopen soon as a mixed wholesale retail fruit and vegetable market. So hopefully it will be happening very shortly. But you want to see inside this place. It's obviously locked up and stuff, but it is massive. And this would have supplied, lots of the grocery stores and all the markets around Moore Street and everything else for generations right here at the Dublin markets. Now, supposedly they are opening this up for 3 days during St. Patrick's Week. They're opening up on St. Patrick's Day, the 17th, the 18th, and the 19th. They're opening this back up. They're going to have some events in here. I don't think they're going to be it's going to be a situation where you can buy fruit and vegetables, but it will be really nice. And this is the only one at the end here that's still going. Now, there is other markets that are around the corner. If you go up here and take a right, there is a lot of fruit markets around there as well that were probably never inside this building, but they have their own separate ones outside the building. This is another one, Condren's right here. It's still going strong, this one. That fruit market. The last time I was here, I was talking to the guy that owns it. But it's really nice. You got some lovely little homes around here as well. And these would be considered more or less low-income homes, if you like. Members of the same families would be living in these homes right here for, over a century or more. They're really nice because these would have been considered council houses back in the day, so for low-income families. But they're very, very well maintained. They're really nice. Now, obviously, people that live in these homes and so forth will not leave these homes because it's very difficult to get another home, to get any kind of home here in Ireland, as there's a huge demand for homes, but very little supply, which is very unfortunate. And we also have a major homeless crisis, and we have a significant problem with social housing, but there just is not enough. So you have a lot of people that are living in hotels, families and all, live in hotels. There's something like 12,000 homeless people in Dublin right now. It's huge amount of people. There's another look at the beautiful building right there of the forecourts. Really is a stunning building. As I say, completed in 1802, but work started in 1764. So it took a long, long time to build it, but it is beautiful. This is another building that was part of the forecourts as well. One of the courthouses right there. It's an old courthouse. Also, as my eyes are starting to water, I'm just going to get my handkerchief out and dry my eyes, because I say it is cold, and anytime it gets real cold, your eyes can start watering, you know. Now we're going to make our way, folks, up to the absolutely stunning St Michan's Church, which is coming up very shortly. Now, as I said before, unfortunately, we won't be going inside because it is locked up. They only do tours by request. You can book a tour and so forth, but it's not going to be opened up if there's nobody here for tours. Now, this is a quiet time of year. You're talking about it's February, so you don't have as many tourists about that would wish to go on these tours of St Michan's. Obviously, during the summer months, this place will be packed, and they'll be doing tours every half hour. And there'll be full tours as well, with the max amount of people on them. As I say, it's extremely famous. As you look at the, how you doing, boss? You look at the one of the judges there. He was a very young judge, wasn't he? Does tourism pick up around Paddy? Yes, it does, Shelley. Paddy's Day onwards, it's huge. Crossing with the red light is so Dubliner. Yeah. So this is St Michan's Church from the outside, folks. Have a look at it. As I say, this church was built on the site of an early Norse chapel from the year 1095. Now, the current structure dates largely from a reconstruction undertaken under William Robinson in 1686. You may have been on my tour last week of the Royal Hospital in Kilmainham. Well, that same William Robinson also built that building and designed that building, and also this one right here too, in the 1600s. So let's cross the road as soon as I get a green light. We got the green light. Look at this. What timing this is, folks. Unbelievable. Get excited. So we'll bring you in here. There's also an ancient graveyard here as well. It's so ancient that most of the engraving on the graves, you can't make them out because it's so old, which is which happens obviously a lot in the due to the weather conditions and so forth. The writings become erased. St Michan's Church right here, folks. Here you go. Founded in 1095. Church of Ireland, an Anglican church, which is all part of the Church of England. The Church of Ireland's here, so it's a Protestant church. Sunday services, the Holy Eucharist, second and fourth Sunday of the month at 10 a.m. Look how infrequent they do. Now, the main vicar right here is David Pierpont. He runs the St. Michan's. Now, very few church services. Now, at one time here in Ireland, you would have church services every single day, and you would have numerous services during the course of the day. There's a lot of influential people right here on this street are on this graveyard. And this is one as well. Just take a nice postcard of that. Let me zoom in here for a little bit. It's hard to make out the writing. Who departed this day. I'm trying to even make out the date. It looks like 1800. So this dates back to 1800. But let's go inside here. If you did a rub-in with paper and crayon would show it up well. There you go. Yes, indeed, Shelley. 1803. Claudia, your eyes are better than mine. My eyes aren't the greatest, that's for sure. I couldn't make it out. So this is the old graveyard right here. I'm going to give you looks at this church from different angles as well during the course of the tour. So this is the only parish church on the north side of the Liffey. As I say, I started the tour on the south side. I went over the O'Donovan-Rossa Bridge, came over onto the north side. But this is the only parish church on the north side of the Liffey surviving from a Viking foundation or Viking settlement. And the vaults of St Michan's uniquely contain many mummified remains, and the walls in the vaults contain limestone, which has kept the air dry, creating ideal conditions for preservation. Some of the mummified remains are close to 1,000 years old. Down in the many crypts, there's about 4 different crypts contained within this church. As I say, this is an ancient graveyard that you're seeing right here. Now, this church has served the Church of Ireland parishioners in Dublin for more than 300 years. Now, the exterior of the church may be not that impressive, but the interior boasts, the exterior of the church may not be impressive, but the interior boasts some fine woodwork, and an organ here in the church dates back to 1724, on which George Frederick Handel is said to have composed the Messiah right here. Now, that Messiah was performed in 1742 on the 13th of April on Fishamble Street, right beside Darky Kelly's pub, if you were on that tour the other day. I'm going to just do a vertical look at the St. Michan's Church here, folks. It isn't a particularly large church, but it is particularly old. As I said, there was a Norse settlement here from the Vikings dating back to 1095. The only building or church older than that was originally built by the Vikings would have been Christ Church, which was a wooden structure that was built in the year 1028. So there you go. Just another look at this. Now, unfortunately, this church is not open. As I say, it's rarely open, especially at this time of year. But there's some absolutely amazing mummified remains. I'm going to show you those in a minute, folks. Now, as I said, the vaults of Michan's uniquely contains many mummified remains, and the walls in the vaults contain limestone, which has kept the air dry, creating ideal conditions for preservations. The vaults were mostly owned by wealthy families. And let me just show you some of these. Now, some of these are courtesy of Suzanne, who's on here. I heard that Bram Stoker's... Yes, we're going to talk about that. Very good, Claudio. Claudio's done our homework. Handel's Messiah, that's right, Michael. So he actually practiced here and performed it here before it went live on Fishamble Street in Dublin, which is Dublin's oldest street, right beside Christchurch Cathedral, just up the street from where I am now, not that far. Hi, Lisa, how are you? Welcome, everybody. So let me just show you some of these mummified remains. Let me tell you about them first. Among the preserved remains are the 400-year-old body of a nun. Let me just show you some of these here, folks. Let me post in here. Check out that. There's some of the oldest ones right there. So among the remains are the 400-year-old body of a nun. You can see her right there. She's on the left in the coffin right there. And an 800-year-old, 6.5-foot man, popularly believed to have been a crusader. That is the one in the middle. And also there's a 400-year-old body of a criminal, the guy on the right. He was a criminal, and his feet and right hand were severed. Also, there are the bodies of the Shear brothers, Henry and John, who took part in the 1798 rebellion, and the various holders of the title of Earl of Leitrim are also interred in here. Let me show you some more of these, of the crypt inside, and of some of the mummified remains in here as well. We'll show you some more. So I'm going to do a series of these here, folks. I'm going to show you lots of posts in here. Let me see. There's a criminal by himself. Here's another look at it inside the crypt right there. See, here's the nun, the 400-year-old nun. Amanda thinks it's funny. Fair play to Amanda. Let me show you some more here. There's some of the graves of some of the wealthy people, the Earls of Leitrim, right there. The whole entire family at that time are buried or interred in here in the cathedral crypt. Let me give you some other looks at it here. I hope you're taking some nice postcard photographs of this, folks. Now, it is pretty scary down here as well. And Suzanne will attest to that, because I was talking to Suzanne earlier before the show started, and she was mentioning that she was on a tour here, but it was off-season when she was here. And the man that was giving her a guided tour, she was the only person on the tour, had to go upstairs, had to leave her in the crypt by herself. And she said it was extremely scary. I can understand that. Let me see, get some more here. How much are tours? Just €7, Jeanette. So very, very reasonably priced. And the tours only last about a half an hour, so not like they're not really, really long, but that's good sometimes. It's short and sweet and to the point. Let me see some more, if we can get some more here. Let's see here. Sorry, folks, I'm going through my media here, my photos. So I'm trying to get the... I might have posted some of these more than once. I apologise for that. Oh, here's two heads right here. Now, coffins they're highly decorated with gold and studs and the family plaques as well, especially the likes of the Earls of Leitrim. Only seen the front of the church. Yes, that is correct. St Michan's Church is okay. We already described that. So let me just continue on, folks, telling you a little bit more about St Michan's Church. Now, a number of the crypts in the vaults were damaged by vandals in 1996. And again in early 2019. Following the 2019 incident, Archdeacon David Pierpont told the media that several of the mummified remains were desecrated by vandals, including the remains of the 400-year-old nun and the decapitation of the 800-year-old crusader. I'm going to show you a picture here with his hand missing, and also his, let me see if I can get it here, folks. Yeah, his hand missing and his feet also missing. That's the crusader right there. That was done by the vandals. Absolutely disgraceful, carry on. How they got into this crypt, it doesn't say in the article. I don't know how they even got in here. Maybe it was an inside job. I have no idea. Sad that the people would do that. Yeah, it's absolutely horrible. You're right, Rose and Francine. Awful, says Suzanne and Charlie. Now, inside the church is an 18th century organ case constructed by John Baptiste Courvel between 1723 and 1725. And in front of the gallery is the organ trophy, a carved wooden piece which depicts 17 musical instruments and was installed in 1724. Now, notable people buried in this graveyard, which I'm going to show you here in a minute, but I want to... disgusting people, that's right. I want to show you a couple of images of inside the church right here, because I was in here, only for a short time was I in here. There's some really nice stained glass windows, which there is all over Irish churches throughout the country. There's absolutely stunning stained glass windows in all the churches. Here's another image right there. It's pretty cool. I can't believe it's 32 minutes already. Where does the time go to, folks? So as I said before, this is an ancient graveyard right here. And you'll see every single one of these gravestones are from centuries back. You can barely make out the inscribing on them because they're so old and so forth. But you will notice that there is, right there, a newer one. And why is this here among all these ancient graves? Because there is no more burials right here. So why is this happening? Well, this man right here, Dan Murphy, was the captain of the police at the Bridewell Barracks just around the corner from here. And his wife begged him to put his gravestone in here to commemorate him, as I say, and he only died in 2019. I don't know why they don't have inscribed on his gravestone that he was the captain of the police, of the guards, as we say here in Ireland. Garda Síochána, keepers of the peace. That's in the Irish language. Garda Síochána, keepers of the peace. So we don't call them police here, we call them Gardas. Garda. There you go. Dan Murphy. A good peacekeeper. Peaceful man. Now, the further you go into the vaults of St Michan's, the atmosphere changes. As I say, it is very, very spooky. And several people have reported hearing whispers around them, while others have felt like they are being watched. And some people have apparently even experienced being touched by unseen hands. Since Victorian times, visitors have descended the vault steps to see the St Michan's mummies. Now, Bram Stoker, who's Claudio just mentioned that, Bram Stoker, the author of Dracula, is believed to have visited the vaults. In fact, his mother's family burial plot is located here. So his mother's family is actually buried right here, Bram Stoker. Obviously, you'd know Bram Stoker, the author of Dracula. So this is definitely a place to visit for some spooky inspiration and eccentric sightseeing. And if you like a good scare, enter if you dare. If you like a good scare, enter if you dare. I'm like a poet and I don't even know it. So as I say, tickets for the tour here are €7 with entrance to the crypts to see the mummified remains. Let me just turn the camera for a vertical shot here again. As I say, it is kind of a narrow church. It's not very wide. It's only a small church, but full of history. As I say, it's on a ancient Norse settlement or Norse church by the Vikings from the year 1095. So it really is ancient. As I said before, this right here was constructed in 1686, St Michan's Church. Lots of haunted places in Ireland. We took a tour last year. Very good, Stephen. Did you actually come in here, Stephen? Or are you in other parts of the country? Popular at All Hallows Eve. Yes, indeed, Shelley. Around Halloween. We actually did a Halloween tour. Talking all about Samhain. Samhain was the feast before it was ever, this is a couple of thousand years ago, by the Celts. And that was actually before it was ever called Halloween. It's called Halloween because it's on the eve of All Saints' Day. On November the 1st is All Saints' Day. Halloween's 31st of October. And for all you guys that don't know this, Halloween started right here in Ireland. Didn't start in America, didn't start anywhere else. It was started right here in Ireland, and it stemmed from, as I said, the Samhain festival. Samhain, an old ancient Celtic festival. Yes, the Rock of Cashel. Stephen, I've done the Rock of Cashel 3 times. I've done that tour, the Rock of Cashel. I don't know if you've been on it, but when was it there? I was there last in, I think I was there in December. Yep, I think I was there in December. Or was I here in January? Hold on a second. I was there last month, early last month. I did a tour of Rock of Cashel, yep. The church was built in 1686. Who was asking that? Sorry. Lap Castle is supposedly haunted, yeah. Nearly all of them are haunted in this country. You may have been, who was asking that? When Smithy, okay, so Smithy, it was, the church right here was built in 1686. This bit, but it is on an old Norse site, as I say, dating back to 1095. Yeah, Lep Castle's cool. I'd love to go and do many. Actually, I don't know if you've been on my Malahide Castle, and I told the story of the ghosts in Malahide Castle. There's actually 5 famous ghosts associated with Malahide Castle, and I tell that story on the Malahide Castle tour. I've probably done that 3 times, I think, that tour on this platform. Amanda says they've only seen it on TV. Now, what's really weird, I guess it's just the way it is today, right behind this ancient graveyard, you have a real modern glass building right here. I just can't deal with these glass buildings. I really can't. I hate them. I love the old style buildings, the Victorian Georgian buildings. Not interested in these modernized glass buildings. And look, that's right above the graveyard here. Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate it. Agree, says Bunny. Thank you, Bunny. I'm glad someone agrees with me. That's cool. Same, says Susan and Charlie. Gabby agrees too. Catherine, totally agree. Thank you, Catherine. Great stuff. So, as I said before, the crypts, the cathedral crypts, I'm going to show you the entrance into a couple of them here. And then we're going to move on to Smithfield. This whole area basically is known as Smithfield, this area of Dublin, which is a big market area. Thank you, Kathleen. Appreciate it, from Seattle. Thank you so much. And, look, he must be doing a tour. Maybe he had one client and he's going to do a tour from, because that cathedral door is open. Here's some more of the crypts that are right here that you go down under. See the mummified remains. And here is one that's open. Let's see if we can see in here, folks. He's only got one of the... I'm going to zoom in, but it's so dark you won't be able to see. Nah, you won't be able to see nothing. He's got the thing open there. He must be giving a tour to somebody. It's so dark. Can't even see anything. Yeah, as I said before, this area is known as Smithfield. But it's known for its markets. It was a cattle market and a horse market for years and years. Up until recently, up to about 10 years ago, they were still selling horses in the horse market right there in Smithfield Square. And that's where we're going to go to now. It's probably about 4 or 5 minute walk from here. No, not even that. So I'll talk to you on the way. But also at Smithfield Square is the original Jameson distillery. Jameson is the second oldest whiskey in Ireland, and it dates back to the late 1600s, early 1700s. And on the island of Ireland, only Bushmills is older. But Jameson is a very, very popular brand of whiskey, so there's a great tour there. Now, they're no longer at this location. Because this is now just a tourist museum, if you like, at Smithfield. They're down in Middleton and Cork right now. That's where they distill all the whiskey for Jameson, one of the biggest whiskey brands in the world. Of course, Irish whiskey, famous the world over. And of course, probably the 2 biggest brands of Irish whiskey are Jameson, or Jameson, whatever you like to call it, and Bushmills. Bushmills, of course, is in the north of Ireland, probably about an hour and a half from Belfast, right beside the Giant's Causeway. Another great, great tour if you're in Ireland is to go up to the Giant Causeway, and spectacular sight. And as I say, right there in the village is Bushmills Distillery as well. This is part, as I say, of the distillery. So let me go over here. And we're going into the back entrance. This is all part of the distillery, these great buildings right here, you see. I'd rather have a pint of the black stuff. Me too, Janet. I'm not a huge whiskey lover. I probably drink whiskey maybe, I don't know, 10 times a year I'd have a shot of whiskey. Or if I have a cold. I usually have a bottle of whiskey at home just so if I have a bad cold, I squeeze some lemons into a glass. I add sugar and honey and a drop of whiskey, or maybe a little more than a drop. And it cures all my ills, to be honest with you. It's fabulous. That's Smithfield Square right over there. We're going to go into Smithfield Square in a minute. That's a hot toddy. That's right, Smitty. I tried to claim it's my own recipe, though. So I'll say this is Jameson Distillery here at Bow Street. This is the old building, still here today. And we'll tell you a little bit about the history of Jameson. We're going to go through this archway right here. Bow Street. I'd rather take some tea and honey. There you go. Guinness, says Jeanette. So we have different preferences. So Jameson was established here on this very site here, folks, in the year 1780. And it was then called, at that time, it was called the Bow Street Distillery. John Jameson took full ownership. He actually worked at the original Bow Street Distillery, and then he took it over himself, took full ownership, and he expanded the distillery in 1805. And in 1810, the operation was officially renamed the John Jameson and Sons Distillery. And the distillery grew to upwards of 5 acres in size by 1886. And the distillery also housed a smithy, a metal smith or a craft person, a cooperage, sawmills, engineers, carpenters, painters, and coppersmith shops as well. Cellars were dug underneath nearby streets to store maturing whiskey. Because I say whiskey takes about 3 or 4 years to mature. And the distillery closed here in 1971 and moved to the new Middleton Distillery in Cork, in Middleton and Cork. And today, the old Jameson Distillery is a visitor centre. It's a tour. It's one of the great tours here in Dublin if you want to come. You can sample all different whiskies produced by Jameson. What's that? Dave, what kind of grains are used to make whiskey? You've got me there. Barley, isn't it? I think. Today, the old Jameson Distillery is a visitor centre that provides guided tours where you can enjoy whiskey tastings. I think there's about 5 different whiskey tastings that you can have. This is a really, really popular destination. As I say, not far from here, also just over the bridge, over one of the bridges outside of here, you have the Guinness storehouse, which is not far, probably about a 10-minute walk from here. So a lot of people will take in, on a guided tour, they will take in the Jameson whiskey tour and then make their way up to the Guinness storehouse for the Guinness tour. And when they come out, they're probably staggering or falling over. Because as I say, you get 5 samples of whiskey to taste here at the Jameson Distillery and the museum here. And also you get a pint of Guinness once you finish the tour of Guinness right up at the gravity bar at the top of the storehouse, 7 floors above the street. And it's a great look at the Dublin skyline as well. And I'm going to show you another place that has an absolutely amazing look at the Dublin skyline. In fact, it's the tallest structure where you can see the Dublin skyline. And it's all part of Jameson right here. Not this one. It's not this one. Corn or barley? There you go. I was right when I said barley then. Right, thank you. Thanks, Rose. How much is the tour? I think the tour here is €20 or €25. About 25 euros, I think it is. But you're getting 5 shots of whiskey. So, you know, it's reasonable. This is a shop right here. The Jameson shop. They do breakfast and all that as well. But you can buy... There's actually more shops inside. You can buy some of the whiskey brands. But what I want to show you next, folks, is the chimney viewing tower. And it was established in 1895. All part still of the Jameson distillery. And let me just show it to you here, folks. As they move out. All this at one time would have been all part of the distillery. So have a look, folks. I'm going to actually have to do the vertical trick again here, folks. I'm not a good vertical man, let me tell you. I'm always going the wrong side. Have a look at the tower. That's the viewing tower right here. And it's open to visitors. It was established, this tower, in 1895 and is a 360 viewpoint tower, panoramic views of Dublin City. And it's voted the best viewpoint in Dublin. And it was originally used, obviously, to distill Jameson whiskey. 170 feet high, or 60 meters, if you like. How about that, folks? Get excited. Let me just bring you and show you some of the posters here. And I'm going to zoom in. It's 5 euros to come up to the tower. That's very, very reasonable. Although there is a lot of steps. I think it tells you how many steps there is. Let me... Get sweeping, unobstructed views of Dublin from one of the oldest buildings in the city, the old Jameson Whiskey Distillery chimney. Go back in time as you go up the 244 winding steps. See you at the top. See you at the top. That's a good old business expression. If you want to become successful, we'll see you at the top. I used to be in a sales business. We used to say that a lot. See you at the top. There you go. That's the view you will see. Looking over. The Sky View Tower. Pretty cool, I think, folks. What do you think? Nice little bistro shop right here. So this is Smithfield Square right here. And we'll talk about this square in just a minute. This, as I said before, is an old horse fair, which took place every Sunday for centuries. So you'd have local farmers, of course. Dublin at one time would have been very much agriculture as well, like the rest of the country. But obviously, being the capital city, it was all built on farmland and everything else as well, and reclaimed land from the various rivers, like the River Poddle and so forth, and part of the River Liffey as well, reclaimed land. So it's a public square here, obviously, formerly an open market and common. The market was laid out in its current form in the mid-17th century as a marketplace until its renovation in the early 21st century. And the square has lined with inner city farmyards housing livestock. And in 1964, Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor spent time here as Burton worked on a film set here in Smithfield for the film adaptation of John le Carre's novel, The Spy Who Came In From the Cold. And Smithfield features as Checkpoint Charlie in the movie. How about that? I only learnt about that the other day when I was researching this. So there you go. Tanya says yes. Now, for centuries, there's been, as I say, a horse fair here, which took place every Sunday, but it hasn't been around for, they finished or it ended about 12 years ago. You also have over here, folks, this is the generator hostel right here. And all of this building and way in the back and everything else, this is the largest hostel in all of Ireland, the generator hostel. You're just seeing a part of it right here, and there's more of it over here as well. And also, these buildings have many rooms all the way in the back as well. So it really is huge, massive. So it's a great place to stay right here in Smithfield Square. Now, the square has been used to hold several concerts and after its renovation, but these were discontinued following complaints from local residents. And Smithfield has recently been rejuvenated under the HARP historical, which means historical area rejuvenation plan. And the restoration involved lifting more than 400,120-year-old cobblestones, cleaning them by hand and relaying them. So these cobblestones that you see right here, folks, were taken up, cleaned, and relayed. How about that? Now, contemporary architecture and 12 26.5-meter gas lighting masks, each with a 2-meter flame, now flank the square. And the lighting masks shades can at times be seen in different colours, reflecting culture events through the year. This is them right here, folks. You'll see them all over the place on Smithfield Square. Let me just zoom in on them. They light up, and as I say, you can see all different current events. You can even see the news on these things as well at certain times. It really is cool. It's a great place to hang out here at Smithfield Square. There's lots of nice restaurants, some really nice bars, and there's a few hotels on the square as well. And then, of course, you have it. Now, this used to be very much a working class area, but now it's more of an upbeat area, this Smithfield Square itself. There's apartments all over it, and these apartments cost a pretty penny. They ain't cheap, because this is a great location, as I say, just literally 2-minute walk, and you have the Lewis. So if you work in the city centre, which is only about a kilometre away, kilometre and a half, you can just jump on the Lewis, the tram, it's called the Lewis. Is our tram system here in Dublin, and so it is a great place to live. Fresh, that's our equivalent to Whole Foods that you have in the United States and Canada. Fresh, very, very good food market. Now, one of the great landmarks on this square, Smithfield Square, is what you're looking at just over here, folks. And I actually did a tour here at one time, but this is the Cobblestone pub that you see right here. And this is one of the great music venues for traditional Irish music in all of Dublin. It is absolutely fantastic. They have these wonderful sessions. And in these sessions, you'll have up to sometimes 20, 30 musicians playing all kinds of different traditional Irish musical instruments at the same time. It really is a fantastic place. I filmed it one day. I did a tour in here one day, and people just absolutely loved it. Gregory likes it. Gregory would know about this because Gregory's from Ireland. I don't know what part of Ireland you're from, Gregory. Are you from Dublin, or are you from what part are you from? If you'd like to put it in there, if you want. Yeah, the Cobblestone. Now, there was huge uproar in recent months, or over the last couple of years, in that they were trying to build a hotel on this site of the Cobblestone. And there was huge crowds out and about to protest that, because the Cobblestone, has such tradition. And as I say, music is played here 7 nights of the week. Traditional Irish music only. No other music, just traditional Irish music. Folk, ballad, but mostly traditional. Some jigs and reels and what have you. It really is fabulous. You're living in West Dublin, are you, Gregory? Where are you, Blanchardstown? Yes, we can, Linda. I'll go back there again. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Last time, the reason why I haven't really gone back here, instead I go to Darky Kelly's, because Darky Kelly's, I get a great reception in there. The people are very, very nice, and they've no problem with me live streaming. But I did come in here, and I did get permission from the musicians and the bartenders to live stream. But I just don't think the musicians were too happy with me live streaming. I don't know why. Just the feeling I got. That's the reason why I didn't really come back. But it is fabulous. There'll be music on it here later. They start at 5 o'clock. Love Darky Kelly's, Linda. Yeah, it is fantastic. It's brilliant. John is from Blanchardstown as well. I don't know if Gregory's Blanchardstown. You're Ballyfermot. Yeah, very good. Ballier. Great stuff. I've got a good few friends living in Ballier. John is Blanche. Very good. There's another great pub over here as well. I'll just show it to you real quick. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. You're very kind. Just up the street here, folks, you have another real famous part of the city of Dublin. It's called Stony Batter. Another working class area. This is a great pub right here, Delaney's. Delaney's is a more of a modern pub compared to Cobblestone's more old-fashioned with, traditional interior inside the Cobblestone, whereas this one's more modern. But it's a great sports bar, and they've got a nice big beer garden outside for the warm weather. If you didn't want to sit inside, you go outside. There's a nice beer garden. It's pretty cool. I'm just coming up to the street here. Actually, Stony Ballard's a little bit too far to walk. But anyway, it is just basically around the corner and up a bit. But we've gone nearly an hour, so I've gone over. Yeah, Darky Kelly's is great. I'm going to go back to Darky Kelly's maybe in about 2 weeks. Do another tour there. As you all love the trad music, the folk and ballad, and the Irish Celts. They're an absolutely fabulous band that play there. Billy in the Bowl, yeah, Claudio. Billy in the Bowl is near here. That's right. I didn't get a chance to see you there. Actually, it was right near St Michan's Church, where I was, on Church Street. That's where Billy in the Bowl was. And I forgot to show it, and let's be honest with you. But anyway, you can't show everything. Donna, thank you so much. Tracy Sherman, I work in the afternoons. Miss so many tours. That's a shame, Tracy. Julie, how are you? Good to see you. I'm coming to the end of the tour here. I toured all around St. Nicholas Church, and also Smithfield. No, Billy in the Bowl is... it's based on mythology, if you like. Supposedly, he was a real person that was in Dublin, and he had no legs. He's an invalid. But and I don't know the full story, but I believe he was a thief, and he couldn't stop stealing, even though he had no legs. Oh, Billy in the Bowl. I have never laughed so much as when I heard it. Yeah, there's actually a great tour here. It's a friend of mine runs that tour. It's called Dark Dublin, and that's someone I know. Well, I don't know. I didn't catch who it was. Yeah, there's a friend of mine who does it. His name is Kieran Bean, and he's a brilliant tour guide, and he owns the Dark Tours Dublin. And he takes in all about Billy in the Bowl and all these off-the-beaten-track places in Dublin, and a lot of Irish mythology and so forth. As you look at the Jameson Tower again, folks, right here, that was used to distill the whiskey way back 1800s, 1900s, and what have you. He was a serial killer. There you are, Claudio. Yeah, serial killer. He was a killer, yeah. He killed women, I think, mostly, or something. I just forget the story, and I know the story, and I forget it. It's been a long time since I heard it. So there you go. Listen, folks, that's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed the tour today. If you did, I'd really appreciate if you could leave a nice review, because this is actually the first time I've done this tour. So if you could leave a nice review, I'd really appreciate it, because next time I do this tour, people will be more inclined to come on it once they see it's well reviewed and so forth. So if you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks very much, folks. And thanks for all those who left a contribution. If you would like to follow my channel, you can do so. That way you'll see all my upcoming tours. Talking about upcoming tours, if you're into Irish history and about the writers and so forth, I'm going to be in Merrion Square on Thursday, but I'm also going to be taking in Georgian Dublin. So Georgian Dublin is one of the most beautiful buildings in Dublin, alongside going into Merrion Square Park to visit the Oscar Wilde Monument and a few other monuments within the park, and give you the history of Merrion Square at the same time. It's a lot of fun. It's a lovely historical tour, and we'll tell you about the life and times of Oscar Wilde on that tour, as well as taking in, as I say, the beautiful Georgian Dublin buildings, the Georgian Dublin. So I hope you can join me for that. And on Friday, I'm going to Harold's Cross. It's a suburb of Dublin, full of history. And we'll actually go into an ancient graveyard there as well. We're going to go into Mount Jerome Cemetery during that course of that tour. That's Friday. And then Saturday, I'm doing this lovely, lovely park, 300-acre park called Marley Park in Rathfarnham in County Dublin. Very close to St Enda's Park, which I did a tour of just not so long ago. Poppy, thank you. I didn't even know you were on, Poppy. How are you? Thank you, Poppy. Poppy's out there putting in that link there for the Harold's Cross tour, a vibrant Dublin village. So I hope you can join me for that one as well, folks. It'll be a lot of fun. As I said, that's all I got for you. Next week, or is it next week? Maybe in a week and a half, on the 9th and the 10th of March, I'll be down in Cork. 2 tours in Cove in County Cork, and then 1 tour the next day on the 10th in Cork City. The 9th of March will be my 2-year anniversary. I'll be doing a 2-year anniversary tour. I haven't actually posted that yet. A 2-year anniversary tour. It'll be 2 years, the 9th of March, from when I did my first tour, hosted my first tour on Hago. So I hope you can join me for that as well. Thank you, Suzanne. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Poppy, for putting in my link there. Actually, just the other day, after the tour, during the tour that I did in Darky Kelly's, the music tour, I reached the magic 3,000 followers. So I wish to thank everybody that follows my channel and has followed my tours and so forth. And because of you guys, I reached that nice figure of 3,000 followers. So appreciate it all, folks. Have a great day. We'll see you all soon. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Poppy. Awesome, says Susan and Charlie. Thank you. Yay, says Julie. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Thanks, Rose. Appreciate it. Folks, we'll see you all. Thanks, Suzanne, John, Candace, Smithy. Take care. Linda, thank you so much. I appreciate you all very, very kindly. And we'll see you on a tour on Hago soon. Slán lit agus go raibh míle maith agat. Sláinte ró. Thank you, folks. Have a great day. Cynthia, thank you so much. Take care, folks. Also, if any of you guys are on Facebook, if you're on the Facebook Voyagers page, if you've taken many of the postcard photographs in this tour, you can always post them on there if you wish. I hope you did get some nice postcard photographs during the course of the tour, as there was some nice opportunities for some nice shots. Thank you, Kathleen. Appreciate it. So please leave a review, folks. I really appreciate it if you do. Thank you. Preferably a nice review. Thank you. We'll see you again, folks. Slán lit agus greibh míle maith agat. Take care, folks. Thank you.